What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Hey, check this out. The YouTube Playbook in 37 minutes. That's funny, man. Hey, right after this intro, we're gonna get into it. Let's check it out.
Growth's got a formula most never learn. You don't need luck or talent, structure is earned. If you're ready to build and you know it's your turn, start with the 4 free videos. Earn as you learn. Click on the more below to sign up.
That's right, y'all. Y'all click on the more button, click in our description area to sign up for the 4 free videos. This is where you stop guessing at and you start getting clarity. The problem with a lot of people that's trying to do YouTube, they just guessing and they just throwing videos up. I can talk to the people. I can just talk. You need to stop guessing and get clarity. That's what the growth system and the growth formula is all about, because Uncle Mike done grew 4 YouTube channels. One of my channels done hit over 500,000 subscribers. And I got 2 videos up there that got over 1 million views. One of them got 2 million views. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's see if we can get this playbook down packed in 30 minutes. Let's check it out.
In the next minute alone, there's going to be over 2,500 videos uploaded to YouTube. That's over 2 million videos a day. So if you're someone who wants to start or grow a YouTube channel, how do you stand out? We've asked that question to hundreds of professional YouTubers over the past 10 years, and we pulled out 38 minutes of the best advice from the Colin and Samir Show.
YouTube is not a video platform. It's a click and watch platform. It's a platform that people have to decide what to view. Even when you compare it to other video platforms like TikTok, TikTok feeds you content based on your algorithm, based on your watch history, and they're really good at it. But YouTube long form, at least, is still a decision platform. So to me, like, the first step is always just like really nailing down what ideas we're going to make for a channel. So when I think about these smaller channels that are growing really quickly, it's usually that they have actually invested more time into ideation. I recently had a channel in our accelerator program, Ian Lore Astro. He's an astrophotography channel. And there was nothing terribly wrong with how he was making the videos. Like, the videos were pretty good, but they were doing 2,000 or 3,000 views a video. And I'd love to take a lot of credit for it, but the reality of it is we were just like, hey, like, spend more time on ideation, study what's working in other niches, try to build a video that we define as having a CCN fit. It hits the core audience, it hits the casual audience, and it hits the new audience all at the same time, which sounds easy, but it's actually quite hard, because sometimes what's really interesting to a new audience alienates a core audience. And sometimes what's really interesting to a core audience is just narrowing the total potential market the video can hit. He changed it from maybe being a situation where he was spending 5% of time on idea, title, thumbnail, to maybe spending 30% of time on idea, title, thumbnail. And he made a video that got 1 million views and did, I think, 270 times his average viewership. Just a video just with astrophotography at different time levels. And it was built on a format that had worked for other people. It was really interesting to see just how big of a multiplier YouTube can be.
Can you break down why that title thumbnail works as opposed to, like, I photographed the Milky Way?
I think because immediately that poses like an interesting question of like, what do the different levels of time investment look like for this thing? There's also like a clear comparison, whether it be a body transformation, whether it be like a $1 jet versus like $100 billion jet or whatever. I think viewers are just fascinated by comparisons and seeing how different things take different amounts of time or investment. And also that format makes for a really interesting thumbnail, because you can show the different levels of effort and how that photo ends up coming out. But those little differences can just have such outsized returns, which it breaks my brain sometimes. We worked with this creator, his name was Tim Gabe, and he had a video which was 6 UI hacks. And someone on my team helped advise him on just like a tiny thumbnail change. And the difference between the thumbnail he had before and the thumbnail he had afterwards was, I would say maybe it was like 30, 40% better, the one afterwards. Like, it wasn't a huge difference. But the video ended up getting 40 times more views per day. And that's what breaks my brain. And I think what a lot of creators like fail to realize is how much of a difference those small details can make. Sometimes it is about just like realizing where you need to invest more time and focus and just improving those little details.
If you want to be a successful creator, you have to embrace the fact that your audience is not only the final audience, but they're also your focus group. traditional media, you've got the focus group and then you've got the intended audience. That distinction goes away. Your fans are your focus group. And if you don't listen to them, you're not going to be a successful creator long term. There's two aspects to your content. There's the product and there's the performance. And a lot of really, creatively purist people can never accept that the performance of the content, and so therefore like the marketing, the title and the thumbnail, are important and potentially just as important or more important than the content itself. Now, we've always said the content is king and we want to have a great product and we're never going to let that suffer. But getting people to watch that is such an important part of it. If you don't embrace the quality of the product and then the performance itself of that product, it just can't happen. You're going to lose too much steam.
We have like the most uptight process for launching a new YouTube channel that I've ever heard of. And we had basically, for lack of a better term, like an actual playbook. And it comes from just an overweening amount of preparation ahead of time. We research every vertical that we go into. We watch everything in that vertical. We understand how the hosts talk to the audiences. We understand the colors they use, how long episodes are, how often they post, what their opening lines are, whether they have a theme song or not, what their titles include. Do their titles include punctuation? Do their thumbnails involve a white stroke on the outside of everyone's head? Whatever it is, we know everything about the vertical before we even decide to go into it. And then from there, we decide, okay, can we play in this space? Where aren't people saying the things that we would like to say? Are there enough collaborators in this space that we think we could be part of a community in this ecosystem? And then from there, it's like, okay, what would we actually say? And we come up with literally a year's worth of content titles and log lines. If you don't have, and I mean, maybe more than that. It was like 100.
It's about 100. It's about 100. Like
100 titles and log lines.
Yeah. And then from there, going back to the playbook idea, it's once we've kind of developed all this list, once we've done all this research, and once we're kind of got the go ahead, we have to launch with 5 videos, like day 1, 5 videos. It's not launch on an empty channel. It's not, here's the only one. It's 5 videos that within those 5 videos give you the thesis of the channel. Here are the range of things we're going to talk about. Here's how they're going to look. Here's how they're going to sound. Here's an episode about hygiene. Here's an episode about clothing and personal style. Here's an episode about, a real life experiment where we do something wacky, like try to kill you with a high heel, and here's something.
Video did really well.
It did.
Great thumbnail.
People were really excited to kill things with high heels.
Yeah. And when we're going in for an actual channel launch, we also focus all of the attention on it, right? Style Theory is a great example. We got to 1 million subscribers in 62 hours, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. Because we intentionally sent people to a channel with everything we had from every other channel. We pointed straight at it and said, go watch this right now. And when they landed there, they landed on 5 20-minute episodes. If you make it through all those episodes, it's 100 minutes of watch time on a brand new channel. We actually got flagged or something. YouTube thought we were spamming.
Yeah, because of...
And they tried to demonetize the channel. There were problems early on because
we got it worked out.
YouTube's internal systems couldn't handle all of the watch minutes that were suddenly flooding to this new channel. Yeah. That's super interesting, I think.
We have some principles of a good YouTube intro from what we've seen. Upon click, the first 7 seconds of a video is about confirming the click. It's just is this matching my expectations?
Or is it clickbait, you mean?
Yeah. So basically, our first rule is
is it just slightly off?
Got it.
Right? Did they stretch just even a little bit further than what I was expecting?
Cool.
So
obviously, or is Mark Rober not there? That'd be a good example
Exactly.
of me.
Or is Mark Rober on Zoom? Where it's I'm going to send him a recipe and see if it, that immediately that's a different expectation. So when I see you, Mark, and a crazy pizza that's exploding like a volcano in the thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
And so then in the first 7 seconds, basically I see, okay, Mark's actually there with you. That's super important.
Yeah.
The next 10 seconds, we talk about making it personal. Yeah. So why are you the one to make him a master chef? So you're about to take him through an intense culinary boot camp. You're in the chef's coat. If I don't know who you are, I immediately assume, all right, this guy's a legit chef.
Yeah.
And then basically by, we typically say by 30 seconds, but you do this at 15 seconds, you have to introduce a new hook.
Yep.
And so what you do here is you say, and we're going to take him through 3 tests that he has to pass.
I think important too that the audience now knows what they're waiting for.
Yeah, we were just in New York and we were talking to Max Joseph. He was talking about how every great story needs an A to Z. So the audience needs to be informed. What is A and what is Z?
Yeah.
And Z meaning like, when is the video over?
Mhm.
And so you introduce these 3 challenges and you go, once he does these 3, that's when the video's over. If
Yeah.
he hasn't done the 3, the video's not over.
Yep. Mhm.
And we're seeing this a lot. Like Rober does it. Jimmy does this a lot in his videos where we call it like the video game map.
Yeah.
Where they kind of zoom out and they're like, but that's one of 6 challenges that we're
Yeah.
doing in this video, right?
Yeah.
And they zoom out and you go, oh, cool, I want to get there.
Yeah.
The A to Z map.
Those graphics, like people are using those kind of flashy, intense. I don't take it quite that far where I'm doing the really crazy
Sure.
VFX and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's really cool.
Everything is a list. This is some I think this is advice from like nonfiction writing. Fundamentally, every nonfiction book is a listicle. It's just like sometimes packaged up in a non-listicle kind of
interesting.
way. Atomic Habits is a listicle. The 4 Habits of Behavior Change. The 4 Hour Work Week is a listicle. Everything is a listicle at the end of the day.
Interesting.
And so this is something that we say to our students in the YouTuber Academy. When in doubt, just think about a list. If you were talking to yourself from 2 years ago, what is 3 or 5 or 7? We like odd numbers. 3 or 5 or 7 things you would have wanted to know, and then just talk about those things, and that's it. Everything is a listicle at the end of the day.
It helps you organize your thoughts as a storyteller.
It's so good.
Totally.
And then for the audience, you have to get to the end.
Yeah. You know, one of the philosophies that we teach on our YouTuber Academy, which is like my whole philosophy of YouTube, is find a way to systemize it as much as possible. It's completely unsustainable if you're having to reinvent the wheel every single time.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't envy entertainment YouTubers, because they are having to reinvent the wheel every single time.
Yeah.
But as an educational YouTuber, all you need is a title, a thumbnail, and a list. And title, thumbnail, list with like a reasonable hook or promise. I don't even like the word hook because it sounds too like
Promise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like a promise. What is the video actually about? You know, the title is 17 purchases that save me time. In this video, we're going to talk about 17 purchases that save me time. Number 1 is a padlock.
But I like that framework of like, you know, all you need is a idea, thumbnail, or you say title, thumbnail, and a list.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
I like that a lot.
That's so good.
I think number 1 on the laws of writing good videos, Doc.
I would love to hear the laws of writing good videos.
Law number 1, control the scope. Make sure the point isn't too broad.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it narrow, keep it focused.
Love that.
Number 2, don't waste the viewer's time. It's almost the same one again. What is the point? Make your point as concisely as possible.
Yeah.
Number 3,
Get to the
load up
point.
the learning outcomes. And this one's really important to me because I feel like our role is to make you feel at the end like you got more than just like marshmallows and cheese whiz, like you got something of substance after you consume our content. Plan for flow. Some ideas will have a natural order. It could be physical, outside to inside. It could be temporal, beginning to end. It could be conceptual, start with the background info, current events, future speculation, but make sure that you have a clear idea. 5, make it personal. Provide context. It's not always obvious how good a screen is, how impressive someone's subscriber count is.
Right.
Remember who you're talking to. Not every video is for everyone. So you guys are going to see this a lot, right? Sometimes you guys are going to do a video that's really targeting brand new creators who've never done anything.
Yep.
And sometimes you guys are going deep into the weeds for people who, if they don't have like 1 million subscribers, it's probably not applicable. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Plan for the payoff. Really important to me. Tell and show us how to feel. Man. And this is part of the context one too. Provide context. When you're presenting to the camera, it captures a fraction of your energy. It captures a fraction of your emotion. So you have to overdo it. If you don't overdo it, you end up just flat and boring.
I've said that several times. You gotta overdo it. If you talk with your arms and legs, and Uncle Mike always overdo it. I get up out of the chair. People want to see this, man. You crazy, man. You gotta grab the microphone and get all into it. Yeah. There's a lady that's on my Facebook feed that I would love to, on one of the live streams. We do live streams every Sunday and Wednesday, and I want to show one of her videos to show the action and everything, because some people are not getting it, but I got it. Here we go.
Number 10, have fun.
Have fun.
The audience's bullshit detector. Finely tuned.
Yeah.
Finely tuned.
Exactly.
If they can tell that you don't give a shit, why should they give a shit?
What?
That's crazy. You're right about that. They
bullshit.
Everybody got a big radar up waiting for it. It's like they got a big catcher. They want to catch all of it. Up. That's bull right there. I can tell you why. Yeah. Everybody got the radar up.
What process or structure would you recommend for someone who maybe has never even written scripts before?
You're basically just thinking about, how do I rehook them every time we move from one segment to the next? How do I make it completely clear at all times what this particular segment is going to be about?
So is essentially, the transition between each segment, is that essentially introducing a new problem? So like a rhythm of problem and solution?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way of thinking about it. So if we take it another way and think of an entertainment thing, someone like Max Fosh is trying to break into an aquarium or something, and we will have it set up that the first segment is, but first I needed to get myself a giant fish costume or something. And so we know, right, okay, the first problem he's encountering is he needs to buy this giant costume. And then say over the course of the segment, he buys the costume, he makes his way to the aquarium, and then he discovers something like, but then I realized the costume was too big for me to fit in the door. And then you realize, okay, so the next problem we're dealing with is, how does he actually gain access to the building? And so I think the way you put it, Colin, is perfect. It's like you're just continuously raising a problem, solving it, and then immediately raising another problem and solving it. Really, the most key thing when we're talking about this problem solution way of approaching it is that you can't leave the audience in between setting up the next solution for too long. So you resolve a problem, you resolve that segment, the audience needs to know what's coming next. They can't be left in that kind of middle ground limbo where they don't know what the next segment's going to be about, because the brain will start to wander. That homepage is just one click away. They need to be kept focused on, okay, they've resolved one problem, and now they've set up the next one. What's coming next?
I think what comes to mind for me is that it's not necessarily about like pace of editing, it's pace of new problems. Like, I think people can often confuse pace of editing with pace of new problem. That like, it doesn't actually matter if you're moving quickly, but if you don't have a new problem, then you'll lose people.
So that was actually George Blackman, who's a professional YouTube script writer. And that conversation was from our course called the YouTube Growth Playbook. The YouTube Growth Playbook is a step-by-step system for growing a YouTube channel. It's based off of our 15 years of experience on the platform, as well as our hundreds of interviews with professional creators. It's all centered around the 3 rules of YouTube. Now, to help you take what you're learning in this video and put it into practice, we put together a free worksheet that you can download just by clicking the link in our description and putting in your email. All right, now we're going to talk about packaging and thumbnails with Cleo Abram.
I noticed in watching your videos over the last year and a half that your thumbnails have changed a lot. And I feel like they've improved a lot, like in the quality of the graphic design, in the composition, in the clickability of just like telling a story between the title and the thumbnail. What was that process like for you? What did you learn about YouTube titles and thumbnails that has taken you to where you are today?
I sort of feel like a machine learning algorithm in this way, where I'm just like pattern matching, and like, it's hard to describe exactly what the steps were. But maybe it was you guys, maybe it was someone else. The 3 things rule, that you want to have 3 things and only 3 things.
We've talked about that quite a bit, yeah.
That's been really helpful. Thinking about the thumbnail as part of the story, like noticing what I like. I have a big deck. It was a lot of titles and thumbnails that I admire. And then I just looked through and I tried to articulate why I admired them so much. And a lot of it had to do with like Tom Scott's relationship between his titles and his thumbnails, and the way that he's like in action in many of them. And there's an arrow that's pointing to something specific. And I love that. Sometimes it's tricky because I'm trying to maybe include my own face, probably because it's sort of a signal that this is a show that people have clicked on before, but also include something that is not necessarily like me in action in the field. Sometimes I'm in the field, but sometimes I'm not. And then also I think there's a certain amount of creative confidence that it takes to make something, I mean, first something on YouTube in general, but also to put out a title and a thumbnail that doesn't try to be everything. And sort of assumes that you're going to create that curiosity gap and that people will click it and that it will work. I think very early on, I was trying to like put the whole video in the title and thumbnail. And now I'm a little bit more relaxed about it, and that's actually helped. And so it's an exercise in choosing those 3 things and like making that actually work.
Something really interesting about your thumbnails, and we were speaking with you yesterday about this,
Yeah.
is that realism is really important to you.
Yeah.
And that is not necessarily the YouTube meta. Like that's not really what's fully happening across YouTube.
Right.
Realism.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think about that, care about that, where the brand of being a creator goes?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I think for a while, it's something that I thought was just assigned to me. Like the idea of, if I want to be a creator, I have to be like Mr. Beast and ZHC. Like I have to have a logo as my channel name and my channel like profile picture. And I actually did that. I like changed my profile picture to an eyeball. What does that even mean? What does an eyeball have to do with me? And I did it because I was like, I was thinking it's one of those correlation is not causation type of situations where I was like looking at the top and seeing what they do, not realizing that I'm just a human being. I'm like not planning to build an empire. I don't want to build an empire or anything. I just want to connect with people and make videos that I love. And so it is important to be intentional. Like I think about even how fonts communicate to people. Like I changed my font from being somewhat more corporate to something that's like so normal that's just on everyone's computer. And it just feels more like me. And I think that like if creators can find those little things, like what song just feels like me, what font feels like me, what video feels like me. And it comes down to realism too, like with the thumbnails. And I found that realistic thumbnails just feel like me. It feels like, yeah, if my face is not like, then I feel more connected to the thumbnail.
Yeah.
If I'm just making a very subtle face that's like, because it's realistic and I'm like, oh, that's legit.
Also, the concepts that you do are rooted in realism. Like they don't feel sensational. The titles might be somewhat sensational. Like I spent, 24 hours in the world's quietest room or loudest room. Like there's a superlative there, right? That fits into what performs on YouTube. Then when you
Man, I'm gonna let you know right now. I was in a quiet room in a studio, a dead room. And I don't know if it was the most quietest room, but it was too quiet. And it felt like death. You felt death in your soul or something, man. That you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
like I spent, 24 hours in the world's quietest room or loudest room. Like there's a superlative there, right? That fits into what performs on YouTube. Then when you watch it, a lot of it is rooted in the relationship you have with the guy who runs the room, right? Or like the people you meet. You've done such a good job of creating characters out of those people. One of my absolute favorites is the underwater hotel.
Yes, it's so fun.
The Daniel. Guy you meet, what's his name?
Daniel. Sweet Daniel.
Yeah, Sweet Daniel.
Hello. Have dinner.
No way. Now, another thing is in your sensory deprivation video, you also showed this moment of really vulnerable, raw emotion.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the decision of keeping that in or not keeping that in?
Yeah, that was wild. So I got in the sensory deprivation tank and it's like at first there was lights and floating and sound. And then hour 2, I turned off the lights. So it was just floating and sound. Hour 3, I actually put earplugs in. So it was just floating. Like those earplugs were crazy. Those are some nice earplugs. And I had a moment in there where I actually felt like I had these like recessed memories about my grandmother and just like the last time I felt super, super still. And it was just taking a nap with her one summer in 2008 when I was just super young. And it was wild because I literally started crying. Like I started bawling. And it's so funny because Zach helps edit the videos. And normally I'll kind of talk to him through the video. I'm like, dude, yeah, that was funny. Like that was cool. We should definitely like put that in the video. And with that, I felt so uncomfortable because I knew Zach was going to watch it. And I was like, I just didn't say anything for like 5 minutes. I was like, anyways. And so we actually talked about it afterwards. And he was like, dude, we should put this in the video. Those are the moments we crave, even like off camera. On a human level, we crave those like real emotions, real conversations. And so that was a huge like turning point to me to realize like, wow, I'm a human being. Like, I have a YouTube channel, but those are the moments that matter. And so many great comments came from that, just like empathizing with me and people sharing their experiences the last time they felt still or like how their grandparents impacted their lives. So
cool twist. When it comes to retention, obviously there's things you can do in the first 30 seconds, the first minute. Are there checklist items you have to get people to 10 minutes, to 15, to 20?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard with a single storyline if you're doing like a double-digit minute video to just have that one thing grip their entire attention throughout the whole video and pay off at the end. So typically, if you're doing a longer video, you should introduce like a side story and like you should have some plan halfway through, like to re-engage them so they don't just get bored. You know what I mean? Like if I just said, like if I hand you a camera and I had a camera, it's like, okay, if he tags me, he gets $100,000, and then I just run, and that's it. It's just me running through the woods and him just running through the woods after me. You can't make a 15-minute video out of it. You know what I mean? But if I do that, and then like 3 minutes in, I pull a lever and a bear comes out and starts chasing him, and he has to get away from the bear. I don't know. Obviously, we wouldn't do this, but kill the bear. And then he starts chasing me. And then 6 minutes in, I jump across the lake, and as he goes to jump through, I press a button that shoots him to the moon. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like now, all of a sudden, it's interesting, and you're watching, right? And that's it, right? One is just a single story, and it's boring. The other has side stories that like re-engage people.
What is the recipe to a like successful Try Guys video? If you look at it and you're like, I know right now what's gonna work or what performs.
We don't make as many classic Try videos. We, food has been our best successor, but there's a through line in all of them, which is we are going to do something that is related to a commonly held passion or identity. So whether that's ballet, I grew up doing ballet, or my little sister did, or I've always wondered what that's like, or making a pie. And then we have an expert who is going to be the source of authority. And now we get to be the crash test dummies. Then there's a lot with how we craft that as well, which is, contrast editing. So expert says, now, no matter what, don't do this. Cut to Keith doing this, right? And also we like to have an arc. Most of our best videos will follow a 3-act structure. We have a first act break. At the second act break, we do have the Dark Night of the Soul, where the character is at their lowest so that we can then see them triumphantly rise and use something they learned earlier and succeed. And I think a lot of our best videos also have to have some stakes, whether that's a performance or feeding what we've done to an expert. And that's also a sense of reveal. But we've learned a ton on how to structure our videos based on audience retention. And that's learning that once they see the big reveal at the end, the video is over. So now, if you have any reflection where we've gone through this incredibly transformative emotional experience, you need to start hearing the reflection underneath and during the final performance, the final reveal, whatever. Because once we're done revealing, you got it. They're out. 30 seconds, video's over.
When I pitch to a brand, I always talk about like the psychology of consumption. This is some cringe stuff. Oh, marketing. I don't know if you guys know, but like the principles of influence.
Let's hear them.
How we consume things and are influenced by things. Every bit of feeling and emotion we evoke can be categorized into one of these 6 things. Scarcity. When you say someone is mysterious and has aura, that's what psychologically you're trying to describe. Like you upload once every 8 months and it's like a big deal. That's a Michael Reeves. That's like, someone who's uploading high quality, low quantity content. That's people like that, right? Consistency, the opposite of that in a sense. It's like uploading every day. Like it's almost like when you come home from school or work, it's like, oh, I'm going to watch this creator. I've come to like almost make it a part of my routine. And you could also combine those two, right? Like you can upload every year, but you do so consistently. So you can combine those 2 principles of influence. Reciprocity, that was a big part of Kid with Crocs, where it's like, this is a new account and I am Kid with Crocs. I would always respond to fans. And like the first 1,000 people that followed me, I followed them back and like just had full conversations with them. And so now these people are like rooting for me. And in a way, like I am not like manipulatively thankful. Like I'm just thankful. Like you're here for the star. And like I would talk to them, and like those 1,000 people who I like gave reciprocity to were in it from the first second to the last second. And like now they're like fans of what I do. And like that's such a like lovely feeling both ways, right? Consensus or social liking. This is super important. It's like you are more likely to watch a video that already has 1 million likes because it is that social proof. Like, oh, people already like it. Right? It's the same reason why it's really hard to go from an account with 0 followers, 0 likes to 1,000 likes, but it's pretty easy to go from like 1 million likes to 1.5 million likes, right? I mean, that's kind of an obvious one. Similarity, it's what we talked about before. It's like you want something that feels similar, but is ultimately different and creative. That's where like creativity comes in, right? You need to be able to understand how people consume content and then like innovate on that, right? So it's like, there's best practices like having your face in the first frame and like having text on the screen. But also like if you follow every single thing in the rule book, people won't care. It's already been done, right? And that's where like some of my weird creative urges come out where it's like, I have a character and I animate and I make music for the videos, right? And then authority, it's like if you're a doctor, like Dr. Mike, right? Like people care about that. Or if you're already a big creator, you already have that like pathos, right? Is that like a smart word, chat? Is that smart? I'm seeing some nods in the back. Let's go. Great. Sorry to yap. So that is how I think about how culture and consumption works. And this has all been deep rooted in my brain. And I learned this in AP Psych back in like sophomore year of high school as I started like making content. And this set of guidelines has like not failed me.
You one time told me about hiding the vegetables. I'm curious if you can explain that concept.
100%. Hiding the vegetables is like one of the core principles we have for how we tell stories, which is, you give someone a plate of broccoli, they're not going to want to eat it. The wholesome and the intentional and kind of important premise in the story is a little bit hidden. When we used to 2016, 2017, we'd do these videos that were very positive and the thumbnail
inspirational.
And like, helping a mom for, Mother's Day, and like nobody clicked on it, but now instead of thinking about it that way, we might come up with an experience that is more outward facing and feels more flashy and interesting, and helping the mom would be a part of that experience, but it's not the title and thumbnail. It's the intentional and caring part of the storytelling that is super important to us. If we feel like the video doesn't have any vegetables, it feels like it lacks that deeper level of connection that I think our audience has gotten used to having when they watch our videos. And so I think it's a really smart thing to think about as a creator, because I think there is a level of needing to be mindful of your ideas that you distribute to the world for people to be interested in watching them. And if you're only distributing vegetables, I think you can build an audience, but they're going to by default be a lot smaller. And once we figured that out, like our growth and everything changed.
Positivity by itself will not sell. Goodness on its own will not sell. So how do you actually take these things that are the core of what we do and make it more consumable to an audience of someone that might not care?
Is there a rule that you think it's okay to break?
I feel like some of the stuff we're talking about of like ending with failure, that in the beginning, I would not have had the confidence to attempt that. But I think from beginning till now, you take risks along the way, and then you're taking notes as, okay, that was like a risk. Collecting data. Oh, never take that risk again. Got it. Okay, took another risk. Oh, that one, there was more of a response there. I remember the first song I ever did was for the Jetpack video. Jam nuts. We're making metal cuts. We're making a jetpack. So we can go onto the water into the open sea. Huge risk. In my head, I'm like, I can't make music for a YouTube video. That breaks the rules. Like it completely broke the rules in my head. And then the comments were very affirming of like, that was weird and fun, and we liked the song. But I think it's only come from like slowly building the confidence to take more risks and feel like I'm comfortable looking dumb. If you're not comfortable failing publicly, it is so important in this weird job we have.
There's this clip where the creators of South Park are speaking to a class, and they said that a really bad story will go like this. It'll go, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And you think like that's an extremely boring way to intake information.
Okay.
And what you want is a story that goes, this happened, but then that happened. Therefore, this happened. So you want some causation between the beats in your story. And I think that's something that could exist completely in a tech video, where you're saying, here's this new phone that was just launched. History has shown us that it's been really incredible. It's been an incredible line of products. But this one is different. Therefore, you should think differently, right? And if you can keep that going throughout, you'll hook people and keep them longer.
Unfortunately, when you invent something or you create something, it will inevitably be copied. As much as, we can be honored that people like admire something that we did, it can mess with your head and it can uninspire you. It also, though, pushes you to do something new.
Like I remember first watching your stuff and being like, whoa, this is this is different. This
is insane.
Like zoom in,
No, it
zoom
was.
out.
Yeah.
Your
This
head
is-
was like exploding at
Yeah, it
times.
was a
Like,
lot. Yeah.
were you aware that you were doing something unique? Because the amount of videos on YouTube that are like, learn how to edit like Emma Chamberlain, or like how many people then did that exact style. Were you aware that you were creating a style? Like what was that era for you?
Actually, I don't think I've ever told the story. Maybe I have. In high school, my friends and I used to do these like dance routines. Like we'd make dance routines. I was a cheerleader. Some of my friends were cheerleaders. Some of them were dancers, whatever. But we'd make these like funny dance routines. We'd film them on the webcam of my laptop during lunch. And then during my next class, which was history, I would edit them on iMovie. I mean, this was just simply for my friends and I's enjoyment, right? The reason why I zoomed in was so that you could see it better. It wasn't like for emphasis or for this or for that.
Right.
Then I started to become obsessed. I was like, this is so fun. Like editing these dance routines is what makes it funny. Like zooming into one of my friends' faces, doing this, doing that. And I don't even remember how that happened. It was such an automatic thing. From there, like I didn't do that on YouTube at first. My dad gave me the advice. He was like, you should treat your YouTube channel how you treated those videos that you used to make with your friends. And I was like, oh, something clicked. And then I was like, I'm just going to take that editing style over. And the editing for me was very intuitive. It was like, this needs to be emphasized. This doesn't. This, like, there's no formula. It was just like, what's going to make this funny to me?
Short form content is driving more algorithmic discovery.
I would argue that like at the beginning, before you found media market fit, like the best strategy is no strategy. It's like speed of iteration. Try a lot of things. See what you love. Find your voice. Find yourself. Step 2, again, if I'm thinking about how to do it as a creator in 2025, you have to move beyond shorts. Now, you don't have to, but there are dangers if you don't. It becomes harder to build a direct-to-fan community and a direct-to-fan business. There are creators who have figured this out. But because fans are less willing and likely to pay for short-form content, and because when you're at the ultimate top layer of the internet, you are more subject to the whims of the platform's direction of traffic. It's a more volatile environment to build a long-term sustainable business versus finding a format like you guys have found, where you've got this repeatable long-form thing that your audience enjoys every week, and you have these, you have like these long conversations and people are listening to them and building loyalty to you and building loyalty to the format. I think there's a key step, if I'm doing it as a creator, is like find my audience on shorts and then figure out after that, how do I build a long form media format and a tighter community around that format. I would say that's step 2.
Whenever people ask about starting out, they're like, oh, I really like tech. I want to make videos about tech. Any tips for starting? Make sure you really do like tech.
Right.
And you can make videos about tech every day for the next year, and maybe you'll kind of get sick of it. Like that's real. That's a real valid feeling to have. And so I often equate becoming a professional video creator in tech or in any product related thing, kind of like becoming a professional athlete. Everyone can have fun making videos, and everyone can have fun, let's say playing basketball, for example, going to the park with your friends, playing basketball, whatever. But turning it into a job requires not just a high level of skill, but like an extra level of time dedication and like actual resources being poured into it to get to the very peak level to be able to turn it into your job.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with making videos.
I love what you just said, because at the beginning of my own personal channel, and I think a lot of creators experience this, you just want to throw as much stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and you're really going for views, or at least I was.
Right.
You do what you can for views. But then I sort of got to this point where half the content on my channel was stuff that when people recognized me on the street, I was like, I don't know if I want to be known for the other stuff I'm doing, not this category A. I want to be known for category B, which for me was these deep, intensive challenges I was doing. So my goal was to reduce as much of category A and pump it all into B. And now I only want to do content I love. And I think that it's a tough investment to make, because you might see it's hard to avoid the low-hanging fruit, when you see an opportunity for, I can make that video or that short and it'll do super, super well, and to say no to that and invest in something you care about more. But I've actually found that the return on that investment is even better, because brands respect you more. Over time, subscribers respect you more, because they know that they're coming for high quality every single time. Because, a YouTube channel is a resume. But it's a very interesting resume, because when a brand or anyone, potential partner, even a potential subscriber comes to look at it, you can't control what they're going to click on. And that one thing they click on could make or break why they decide to work with you or subscribe to you. And I want to make sure every single piece of content, even if it doesn't have a ton of views, is one that shows the quality of the channel.
All right, if you like the advice from this video, then I think you'll like this video, where Colin and I workshop a video with a creator, taking her from averaging around 1,000 views a video to this specific video doing well over 100,000 views.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Hey, it's all kinds of strategies. It's all kinds of ways you can actually do YouTube. It's not like they're laying down like a lot of the foundations, and I'm learning some of this stuff, because what I'm doing is working, but it ain't working, because 90% of the people coming to see me, 90% of it, they coming because of the Puffy, Jay-Z, whatever the big name is. They're not coming to see me. These people are doing YouTube channels where the people are coming to see them. And that's where we're trying to move toward. Look here, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Shh. Peace out.